He told them to run, and so began the life or death chase. Wolfgang carried Soryang on his back, and they ran as fast as they could. The queen bee was fussy. Soryang soothed it, promising to take the queen somewhere peaceful where people wouldn't bother them. It had been a few days since the honeybee race of death began. During that time, the group pushed themselves to their limits, cutting back on sleep and fully exerting their mobility arts. They were all out of breath and energy. By the time they reached their destination, a few warriors from the Venom blood unit had already fallen behind. Soryang promised himself that he would demand to learn mobility arts when they returned. One of the warriors tripped and fell, prompting another to announce that another one had fallen. The fallen warrior was Huang Duryang of the Venom blood unit. He looked half dead on the ground, with dark circles under his eyes and snot and saliva dripping from his open mouth. Soryang also had dark circles. He was hopeful that once the queen bee was far enough from the colony, they wouldn't be able to attack. Wolfgang was starting to lose hope and asked Soryang if they could really escape. Soryang gave a vague answer. 3 days later, another warrior fell face down, apologizing to Soryang as he could no longer move. Soryang was worried for Wolfgang. Hueyun decided she would carry Soryang instead. Soryang suggested he could run on his own, but Hueyun, despite her haggard appearance, shyly promised she could do it. She declared that a member of the Tang clan never gives up. At the entrance of the Tang clan's house, 2 guards were stationed. They noticed someone approaching and recognized their young lady. Hueyun and Soryang supported each other as they walked. The guards' jaws dropped at their appearance. Family members were called immediately. With all the commotion, Museong and Chialson came out. They were stunned to see the state of the two. Hueyun looked truly worn out. Chialson laid Hueyun's head on his lap as he began to heal her. Furious, he demanded an explanation from Soryang. Soryang told him to calm down, explaining that Hueyun was simply exhausted after using mobility arts for 10 days without a break. Soryang was in a hurry and urged everyone to head to the training grounds. Museong was confused until Soryang pulled the queen bee from his clothing. He explained that the other bees would soon swarm there, so they needed to head to the ancient tree in the training grounds. Everyone was stunned, except for Museong, who was amused by Soryang's antics. Chialson was in disbelief. He had sent Soryang to fetch honey, and yet he returned with the queen bee. Museong placed a reassuring hand on Soryang's shoulder and declared they would go. Suddenly, Museong jumped high while carrying Soryang, who screamed out loud. Museong moved swiftly. When Soryang screamed again, the old man asked what was wrong. Soryang told him that the bees were swarming towards them. Museong saw the swarm and asked if Soryang had brought all those bees with him. They were almost at their destination, so they hurried. Soryang's body struggled to keep up with the speed, but thankfully, Museong's grip kept him secure. They eventually arrived at the ancient tree. Soryang approached the tree and explained to the golden-haired queen bee that this was the new home he had mentioned. He gently released the queen bee, asking, "Not bad, right?" The queen bee made a "bye" noise, seemingly understanding him. She inspected the tree and turned to Soryang, looking excited as if to say he was right. Soryang wondered if she really liked it. Museong suggested they leave for now since the bees were arriving. The clan members watched as the colony of bees flew above them. The golden-haired queen bee made bee noises, calling them. The bees headed for the tree. Museong was amazed, expressing that in all his years, he had never seen anything like it before. Mission accomplished. The golden-haired queen bee had been successfully captured, and moments later, the dog-sized bees were seen drinking sugar water. The exhausted bees were being revitalized with the sweet treat. After all, there's a saying that bonds are built over food, and goodwill begins with a meal. They were fortunate that there was something akin to refined sugar in this world, so it worked out well. Soryang hoped the little feast would help reduce the bees' wariness towards them. It would be even better if the bees started recognizing Soryang as their master. Suddenly, Soryang shouted that he forgot something. Chialson and Museong eyed him suspiciously and asked what it was. Soryang nervously inquired about Hueyun. Chialson was a bit annoyed that Soryang only thought of her now, but replied that he had instructed others to take Hueyun to her mother to rest. Chialson questioned if they really used mobility arts all the way from the forest to the house with the bees following. Soryang nervously confirmed and apologized, explaining they barely managed 4 hours of sleep a day, spending the rest running. Museong suddenly realized something and asked Soryang about the members of the Venom blood unit. Soryang, sweating nervously, admitted that the members had collapsed somewhere along the roadside. He promised to go pick them up. Eventually, the members of the Venom blood unit returned safely to their families. In Hueyun's room, she was awake and energetic enough to sit up. Soryang was by her side. Hueyun happily mentioned that the golden-haired bees had recovered remembered their strength. Soryang shared that the bees were currently gathering nectar from the poisonous flowers of Tang Clan Mountain. Hueyun found it adorable. Suddenly, someone rushed in, calling for Soryang in a panic. Pai informed him that he needed to come outside immediately. He told Soryang something was wrong with the golden-haired bees. They seemed to be searching for something. Soryang and Hueyun quickly went outside to see what was happening. The bees were scattered all over until they spotted Soryang and clung onto him. Suddenly, they began pulling on his shirt. Soryang was confused by their behavior. The pulling lifted him off the ground, and Hueyun was surprised to see Soryang being flown by the swarm of bees. In the air, Soryang looked amusing with his legs straight and arms spread in a T-shape. Eventually, the bees dropped him. Soryang asked them why they were fussing around their hive. He thought something must be wrong. The bees nudged him, and he got the message. They wanted him inside. Looking around, he saw they had already built part of the hive and were working hard to gather honey. Then he noticed a bee approaching. It was the queen bee. Soryang held out his hands, asking the queen bee if she wanted a lift. He couldn't move as the other bees clung to him, with one even pinching his cheeks. He looked at the queen bee, who appeared elegant and cute. The author really did a great job describing her. The queen bee closed her eyes and moved towards Soryang's mouth. He panicked but was silenced as the queen bee kissed him on the lips. He felt something placed in his mouth and instinctively swallowed it. The other bees stopped clinging to him and the queen bee finished her kiss. Soryang turned red as a tomato. Embarrassed, he yelled at the queen bee, saying it was his first kiss and asked what she was doing. Then Soryang felt something was wrong. He collapsed on the ground, experiencing excruciating pain. In his mind, he wondered what the queen bee had fed him. From his perspective, the queen bee had a mysterious look on her face.
So, friends, this chapter comes to an end. What will happen next? We'll uncover it in the next chapter. Don't forget to rate this chapter out of 10 in the comments. We'll see you in the next video. Until then, take care and goodbye. Don't forget to like the video and subscribe to the channel.